We're doing an auction, a live auction, ladies and gentlemen. And even if you're not bidding on anything, it's so worth it to watch the amazing pipes of Joe Bodnar. Give it up for Joe. Joe
Bodnar. Hey, welcome to Bodnars, Bids, and Banter. I'm your host, Joe Bodnar.
Maureen.
Danny.
Tracy.
There we go, around the room. Congratulations, everybody. I think we got the intro down to a pat now.
Woohoo!
All right, what a week, huh? What a week. We slopped.
Slept,
same old thing.
Same
30.
difference.
It's the same thing. See, you're starting to understand how Bodnar speaks. See that my wife can understand everything I say.
Yeah.
She's still learning.
I'm an interpreter.
Sometimes she doesn't want to understand.
She's fluent
Sometimes
in Bodnar.
I'm fluent. I'm a great interpreter.
Yeah.
My kids, I'm always saying stuff like that. They're always correcting me.
They're always correcting.
They're always
like,
correcting
you know
me.
what he means.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Anyway,
it.
we slept at least 30,000 pounds of comics. I would say at least 30,000 pounds.
boy.
Right? So the tables in the building are bending.
They are. They were bowing.
They were bowing.
Poor Tom was like, I'm very concerned
We
for
were
that
bowing
table.
at the end of it.
That's right. I forgot. Yes, you carried half that load, a quarter of the load.
Yeah.
Because you guys didn't bring up every lot in its entirety.
No, but any shorts and any flats.
Yeah.
Right.
Brought up.
Right, you
Those
brought
are
up
at least
to then
50
put under the
pounds
camera.
each.
And
Short?
some of those, each short, and them shits was heavy.
I was laughing, you know. I know that was like your first week back, and by about 4:00 in the afternoon, you had this look like
You were like,
you
why
had
did I
the
do
look of
this?
dread.
Why did I come back?
You were like,
look.
I don't know why I came back to this place. What am I fucking nuts?
Lucky we all had that face. Like, even like, remember, we kept looking at each other, and like we kept looking at Tom.
Then it
and we
hit-
were all just looking at each other like
we're done.
However, I will say what I
It went
missed.
smooth.
One of the things I missed about Danny is Joe has a rhythm to his cadence where a lot of auctioneers sound like a banjo, like someone's plucking a banjo. And it's horrible.
There's a rhythm.
But Joe has a da 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 to his cadence, and I missed watching Danny dance to your cadence.
I dance and I'll twerk. I
He'll
will
twerk.
throw
He
some
twerks.
ass.
All right, I like the twerk, yeah.
to his auction.
There have been
Cadence,
times where
yeah.
I see Danny dancing. If I'm up, I'm like, I'm getting into this.
Oh, good.
Get down with it.
That's a compliment.
Yeah.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that.
And then also the term, like, anytime there's multiple items for one money, you know, like 3 items, one money. That shit I don't know what it is, but it gets my funny bone every time. Every time. It'll get me giggling.
But
you know.
I missed that.
That
I
was-
watched. It was a couple of times.
There was a couple times. I'm glad you caught it.
Yeah,
I'm glad
I
you caught
did.
it. All right, good.
There was
good to be back.
It was a long sale. It was a successful sale.
It was a
long
very
sale.
long sale.
I laughed though, you know, because back in the day, I would have team meetings in the morning. You guys didn't catch any of this when we were alive, but I would do a team meeting in the morning at like 8:30 in the morning. We would start the sale at 9. First auction ring was 9 o'clock. Then the next auction ring would start
10.
at 10 o'clock. The next one at 11 and 12. And then that would run till sometimes 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. All right. So imagine that. All right.
Wow.
8. So you're talking 9 in the morning till. So I'm not kidding. I'm not exaggerating. There was a sale, a comic book sale where it was so long. In the middle of the sale, it hit midnight. And we were like, all right, we're gonna break apart and we're gonna take the comics over to this section. We're
Yeah, I remember
we're
that.
gonna sell the toys over here, so we're not here till 5, 6 in the morning. And it literally split it, and that sale ran till 3 in the morning with comic books on the one corner. And kid you not, we had a crowd of 200 people still bidding.
That is
you know?
wild.
That's how crazy.
Wow.
That's the lunacy of the live sales that we used to do.
Yeah.
So in theory, it really wasn't that long in the perspective of things, but it was long. I don't disagree. I was hitting. It was hitting 6 o'clock, and I'm going, oh boy. I told my son, Maddie, well, come over at 6 o'clock and we'll do drum lessons. It's like 6 o'clock now. It's 6:15. He came in the door.
Came in.
He came in. I said, you have to go up to the house and wait. You know.
Hung out. It was a long one.
It was a long one. We finally got done at 6:45, I think.
It was
I tell you,
We were calling it though. We called it early on.
We did.
Yeah.
Right.
But because
Publix-
the way that they were bidding.
Yeah. Public service
they were
announcement to
bidding.
you comic book bidders out there.
Don't
Listen.
Stop
wait
waiting until the last
minute.
minute.
And bid faster, please.
Bid faster.
We actually used to have a side before you guys came around.
Yeah, I had a little
Back
side.
when Dana used to auctioneer and everything. We took a piece of like cardstock.
I had a cardstock.
and made it into like a comic thing with like
had
the
Batman
colorful
symbol.
Yeah.
and wrote bid faster.
Oh, that's right. You know
and
how he
we
would
put
say,
it in front of
"Pow!"
the camera. And we would just
get a
literally
handheld
like,
for
Yeah,
for
you
the
can do that.
camera. We're
Yeah,
gonna
you
make
can do that
one.
for that. That's what I used to do. I had it was like said pow. It said bid. Quick.
bid faster.
Faster.
Like,
Just like in the comic style.
Let's do that.
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah. It's
sure.
cool.
this has been an issue since day one.
It's one of the issues of online bidding. You can't. It's hard, and it's hard for me as an auctioneer to know when to pull that trigger or not because when I was in a in-person sale, I could read you.
You could tell,
I knew if you were going to bid again. I knew did I have you up against the ropes and you were like bobbing, or if you were like out. I knew it. I knew exactly where you were, and sometimes I could know exactly what you're thinking. And now when you're looking at the computer screen, it's a little bit trickier to know when to pull that trigger.
And there were like Invaluable back in the day used to have a feature that when a bidder online was hovering over the bid button,
we
it
can
would
see
show
that.
me a little paddle.
Really?
And so someone's hovering over that bid button, so you knew not to drop the hammer yet.
They don't do that no more, but
they don't do that anymore.
I think a lot of times, because if you put your mouse there and left it there, it probably just left that paddle up all the time, so people probably bitched at it.
okay.
But it
I
still
liked it.
It gave you a concept that someone was about to bid, and you wouldn't screw
That's
up,
helpful.
and miss the bid. But this sale
But
was.
it's hard to say. Yeah. No, it was long.
This sale was long. It was great. There was tons of nudie women and nudie men. There was. It was fairy tales.
Grimm's fairy
fairy
tales.
tales.
Just smutty fairy tales.
Yeah.
Grim Smutty fairy tales,
Smutty.
bringing $800 a lot.
a long box? Oh my
if there
God.
was tits on the cover, it smoked.
No joke.
It did, man.
When you put the
We got
comics,
back. Yeah, we got to the point of where they'd be like, "Do it again."
do it again.
Do it again.
Yeah.
Do it again.
Do it again.
Put the
Pull-
boobs
yeah.
in the shot. Put
Yeah.
the
Get the
boobs
boobs in the shop,
in the shot.
man.
And
That
boobs
was
in the
selling
shot.
it.
And it was selling it.
Yeah,
A lot
no.
of
Totally
perverts
was.
out there.
Yeah.
There was that, and then Purgatory. Purgatory was.
my
We did a
God.
Purgatory lot. That
Purgatory.
Purgatory lot brought like $800. It was
Oh, yeah,
crazy.
that's the dark stuff.
$825.
Yeah.
And then there was just. It was so interesting because we had all these modern comics, which were all independents and unusual names, but they were full runs. We had Spawn, and we had, like I said, Fairy Grim Tales and Witchblade, and there was all these.
Lady Death.
There was like
Oh, Lady Death. Yeah.
rated R, rated X comics is what they were. And then we had like a small version of older books that were from the 70s that were like rarer pieces. And those books didn't bring nothing. But if you had nudie women on it, it smoked.
sold
It
smoke.
really brought a ton of money, man. I mean, listen, when you have three bidders and we had more than three bidders, but when you have three bidders pop up that they spend over $10,000 of each, that's a good night. That's smut sells. Exactly. It really does sell. But that stuff smoked. But that was a hustle.
It was a hustle.
It was hard work.
It was a
man.
hard work
It was
sale, man. That sale all the way around.
Yeah.
Start to finish. I
Going
can tell you.
through it.
Picking it up. I'll never forget. We picked that sale up. I don't know. I picked that sale probably a year and a half ago. I think that's how long I've had it in my possession. I put that on my truck. I didn't take it all at once because it was too damn heavy. Because besides the comic books, it also has the McFarlane collection because he bought comic books and he bought McFarlane Toys. And McFarlane Toys is what we have coming up next week, which we'll get into.
Oh, is this the same guy that had all those toys?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Wow.
this is going to be the third sale of McFarlane Toys that we're actually selling as the same guy's collection, but then that's going to flush out this guy's collection. But I put that stuff on the truck. My truck was so damn heavy, I was probably 30,000 pounds overweight, So I'll never forget Jeff, myself, and what was the guy's name? That Clay. That was like Clay's last week or something like that.
Yeah, Clay was like, I'm out.
Clay was this real nice guy. He was
Long
a great kid.
boxes, full long boxes
Clay-
do that to you.
Clay is fresh out of college. He was like 22 years old. He was a hockey player.
Nice kid.
A nice kid. But man, when it came to like hard labor work like that, man, I don't know, man.
He struggled.
He struggled, man. He really struggled. He was a hockey player. I'm surprised.
Sometimes you gotta lock in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he that was his like last job. We took him on this job and we picked up 250 long boxes of comics, and that was only half the collection we sold. What you saw, because the other half we sold 3-4 months ago.
Yeah.
But I've definitely helped move those long boxes.
Yeah, they're a bitch, man.
Over maybe like a year-long period, like
Right.
3-4 times.
Right.
Because I remember when we had to stack them on the second shelf.
Yeah.
In the back. And
you
then-
helped with that. That's right. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I've done my fair share of heavy lifting.
Yes.
Yeah, and then poor Erica was out for that sale. Yeah. So
Yes.
normally she helps me collect everything after the sale.
That's right. She usually does help you after the sale.
And poor Tom.
You had the boys do it.
Poor Tom. Oh, I feel not this much bad for Jeffrey. I enjoyed making him. I would actually give Tom all the ones on the table. I'm like, here you go, Tom. Take that one. It was on the ground. I was like, Jeff, get that one. I enjoyed it.
Jeff is our Sisyphus. You know, it's just get that rock over the hill.
But they went very, very well. I was very happy with that sale. I thought it smoked. It brought a ton of money, and you can't ask for anything more. And I think every bill got paid except for one. Two. And not big bills, I don't think.
2 or 3. 2 or 3.
Maybe I don't want to ask this question.
Don't
yet.
ask this question.
I don't want to know.
But it is fun to watch.
The big bills got paid. The $10,000 one and the other $10,000. And what you know what's fucking even crazy? Listen to this one. So one guy bought 54 lots, paid it was like $11,000 and change, and he's from Canada. And all because of the Trump tariff that's coming in.
He's on a rush.
He's in a rush to get it because
to
get them over the border.
Yes.
Because right now comic books aren't a part of that tariff, but the next round they are.
So he's got 18 days to get it into the country to save $2,500.
The shipper that picked it up, he was like, "I really need this, now."
Yeah, you just figure a 25% tariff is going to be $2,500 on top of what he spent. You know, that's a big.
I guess he's going to spend like at least an extra $500 on a rush. You know,
I guess so. But it's just crazy, I not to bring in politics, but tariffs don't work. I'm sorry. I mean, all it's going to do is screw up the economy. It's going to, they talk about how it's going to help this, that, and everything else, and it's only going to affect maybe big businesses. We're a small business, and look, right off the bat, boom, it hits us that it's going to affect people bidding from out of the country in Canada.
Yeah,
we do have buyers from Canada.
It affects everyone in so
very
many different
curious
aspects.
to see what the sale does and how many of those people are. And because we do a lot with Canada.
Yeah, we do a lot of business with Canada. We do ship a lot out to Canada, especially when it comes to toys and Star Wars and things like that. We have a lot of toy buyers out there.
Star Wars goes to Australia.
Yeah, no, that's true. Australia's a big buyer of Star Wars.
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot of people. Funny. Okay, so the Beyond the Gavel story this week will be. We had a guy years ago. We sold individual Star Wars figures, loose, not on card. This is pre-pandemic. It was just Joe and I working out of this house.
So it was during the pandemic.
Yeah. I'm sorry. During the pandemic, it was just you and me. I packed them all up, wrapped them all up real nice to him, shipped them off to him in Australia.
Yeah, I remember this.
He's like, I never got them. You know, so I look online. It's like nowhere, right? So this is like August of 2020 or something. So do a missing package, do the whole thing. And
it's like $5,000 worth of stuff, if I remember correctly. It's like $5,000 worth of stuff.
These were like original rare figures, and honest to goodness, did the whole, missing package claim for him, did everything. He was a super nice guy. And he said, if it somehow ever comes back to you, please let me know. Wouldn't you know it? But a year and a half later.
Year and a half later.
Whoa. This busted up box shows up at my house. I mean, it's half crushed.
It was.
And I'm like, what is this? And I look at the label and I'm like, get out of here. And I bring it to the back and I open it up. Alan and I carefully unwrap. Not one thing was damaged.
Yeah.
Not one thing. And I actually emailed the guy and was like, you're never going to guess what I have. And he was like, get out. I will pay for them. Like
he wanted them because
I shipped it to him.
He didn't care about the money. He didn't care about the money. I'll never forget when it was gone. Listen, I don't care about the money. I just want the figures because I can't get the figures. Wow. Because they were that rare or something like that.
So we
he probably was trying to complete a collection. Or something. Yeah.
And I contacted him. And he was like, "No, I'll take them all. I will repay for them. I will whatever. Had to give the money back from when he got the claim.
Yeah, I think what we had to do is we refunded him the money or something like that in the beginning, and then we got insurance. I don't even think we got insurance money on that. I don't remember. I don't remember the back whole story. But yes.
And then DHL personally came, picked them up here, and he was doing like a courier to his house so that it didn't get lost with the lovely post office ever again. But so a year and a half later, this crushed box shows up.
So I used to send out like brochures, direct mailers, back in the day. If you came to the auction, I used to put a 4-part brochure together, write it up, photograph, send it out. One went through the anthrax back in the day. You remember the anthrax back in Trenton back a long time ago?
Yeah, the anthrax
scare.
Yeah, the anthrax scare. So I guess a lot of my mail would go through that post office. I got a return letter from that post office 13 years later. It came back to me.
Yeah.
13 years. Can you imagine? I can't believe. Is that crazy? That's a crazy story,
that's like
man.
when they find like a bag of mail like hidden somewhere that's like
Right?
80s, like 80, 90 years old, and they're like, well, we're gonna send it out.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Oh yeah, no, I've seen the post office do some really. A bronze once was delivered completely sheared in half.
Yeah.
The box was completely split in half. Don't know where the rest of the other half was. They stuffed some paper on it, put a little packing tape over the paper, and actually delivered the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, the bronze was cut in half. I'm like, did you drag it behind the van?
I feel like they've gotten better, but man,
Not
during
really.
the pandemic, it was really bad.
Not really. I just had a woman
what's
call.
going on at these distribution centers? That's what
It's
I want to know.
bad. I just had a woman call me the other day. I shipped her jewelry. And she
that's
called
right.
me up and said, it's coming back to you. I'm like, why is it coming back to me? I go and I look on the tracking and it says, moved, left no forwarding address. And I said, oh, it says moved. She goes, I assure you, I am in the house. like I am here.
Look behind you.
Look behind you. It was a little horror movie the way she, but I felt so bad. I was like, she's like, I am standing in the house.
You know what's crazy? You can't fight these companies. You have to repay postage
You
on
have
that
to
when it gets
repay
returned.
it.
Yeah, you got to repay.
Yeah.
And that's how that works. So you
Poor
had to
lady.
repay the postage on that, and not even that. Sometimes filing a claim when it comes to that kind of stuff. Oh my
I mean,
god!
that's just life in the modern world. If it doesn't fuck you one way, it fucks you another.
Oh, I
you
don't
know?
disagree. That is absolutely true. But man, sometimes just getting a claim through and just all of that is just a nightmare.
It is a nightmare.
No, it could be an absolute nightmare. But these comic books did fantastic. So I'm very happy with the sale. I'm very pleased with how that all turned out. And now, next week we'll be selling the final installment of his collection of McFarlane things. Finally,
yeah. And I've worked on those, photographing them. You photographed. Like it's been like multiple people have gone through the cycle of working through this.
And
through this
what the
gigantic
biggest thing for
collection.
you is the glare. The glare is the biggest problem, man. I don't disagree.
Photographing toys is hard.
These are all brand new toys, mint in the package, and to get a good photograph on
It's
very
not
difficult.
Easy, no, because it's not just the outer packaging. Sometimes they're sealed inside too,
packaging.
so it's
Yep.
double glare.
And it's like a cellophane seal, so
Exactly.
it has all of these.
It's
Yeah.
not
Right.
perfectly
It's undulating.
straight.
Yeah, no.
Undulating. What a good word. Undulating.
But the sale is really cool because he had all kinds of pop culture. These are all fresh out of the case. We have, I think we open up with like rock bands. We have Metallica. We have Axl Rose. We
Yes.
have Kiss.
Yes.
We have Elvis
There's
Presley.
a lot of Elvis in
Right?
there.
There's all these different rock bands, and it
Yes.
goes into like horror flicks. You got Freddy Krueger.
Freddy Krueger.
Oh yeah, and there's some nice like
and-
big ones too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those really large.
Yes, the
figures.
huge ones.
Nightmare.
Jason and what's his face? The ugly one, Leatherface.
Leatherface.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, Leatherface.
Yes,
right?
yes,
That's
yes.
what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never watched any of those. I watched Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, there was a lot of those.
I
There
wouldn't
was, like,
sleep in
3D
my bed for
posters.
years.
No, the one where the
Right?
comes up into the bed. And
Yeah, and
That's
he
one of the
sucks you
posters.
in.
Freddy
Oh,
Krueger.
like
The second and the third are some of my favorites.
It still
know, man.
gives me like creeps to think about
Yeah,
it.
no. I remember Freddy in like number 3 or 4 takes a piece of sausage and takes the guy and it's using his head or something. I just like,
No, that's actually a moment. She's looking at me like, what the fuck is he talking about?
Yeah.
nah, it's
true.
I don't watch many horror flicks, but Nightmare on Elm Street was one horror flick that I got into. I guess
my
as
favorites.
a
I
kid.
think it's at number 3 where they're in like the mental hospital. Yeah, number 3 is one of my faves.
Yeah, no.
I
just
can't get
ridiculous.
into
I'll
it.
pass. I'll pass.
I
I can't get into it.
Well, there was some gory stuff too.
Well, see, I don't
A lot
like
of
gore.
gore.
That's the one thing.
Yeah.
Even like when you get into these comic movies like Deadpool, why's it got to be so fucking gory?
Because it's part of the charm.
The charm.
The charm of gore.
The
I
charm.
don't
not
like
charming
horror.
to
I'm a
me.
big
Blood
horror fan.
and guts.
I think it's. I don't know. I'm trying to think of the right.
I like a
word,
good
the way to des-
psychological.
I was gonna say
thriller.
Alfred Hitchcock has done a much better job without the gore. Right? I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't see the gore
to each their own.
To each their own. I get it. I don't know. It's hard for me to. I mean, even like if
they
you
keep making it, so there has to be a market for it.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I don't disagree.
That's
Well,
what makes the world go
Terrifier
round, right?
trilogy would not.
well, like,
exist.
see, I like Dracula. Bram Stoker's Dracula is a fantastic movie. And then I asked you because there was a new movie just out that came out, and the commercial. What is it?
Nosferatu.
Yeah, and I said, "Is it gory?" And you were like, "Yeah, it is gory." But that's I don't want to
It was
watch it.
beautiful. It was so. I enjoyed it.
See, I like Dracula because you know, Keanu Reeves is getting sucked to death by the blood of the women that are in there.
Here we go again.
I had to bring it
Here
back
we go,
into the
the
sexual
naked
part of the
ladies
sucking.
again.
Wow,
But but he is. He's getting like sucked to
live
death
with this.
slowly.
Closed his eyes, bro. Like,
I can envision that scene. It was great. What a great scene.
He's there right now.
Now, see, I can take the kind of gore where two women are sucking my blood, but I can't take the gore of my head chopped off with shit coming out. I mean, that's kind of
I
foul.
wouldn't consider getting bitten by a
you
vampire.
have the disconnect to know that it's not
It's
Real.
pretend.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know.
For some people, they can't. Like,
Right,
I
right.
disassociate with
Same.
it,
See, I can't.
I'm like, yo, that's chewing gum. Like, we're good.
I
I'm
can't.
not watching a snuff film.
Be like, why is that blood so like orange red? Like you'll be like, that's funny.
I don't know.
You know?
I don't know.
For me, it just doesn't. I don't.
I don't know.
get
That's a
into
tough
it.
one.
Those
I see. No, I
movies.
agree. I
Yeah.
can't see the
Just-
smush.
It's too
Have you seen
Yeah.
Crimson Peak?
gross.
Huh?
Have you seen Crimson Peak?
Crimson Peak.
See, like there's a movie that I think would get you into horror. It's Guillermo del Toro. But
Okay.
It's a gothic. It's like a Victorian gothic
Okay.
haunted house movie, and the fashions. It takes place on like right at the turn of the century.
Oh,
See,
see
no.
that. I'm
Like,
there
it
for
is-
that.
I like the love story of Dracula.
Making Frankenstein next.
Ooh, I can't wait.
No, I take a love story like Dracula. That's a love story. Which it is a love story. It's a love triangle. He's searching for his
I think the Bram
his
Stoker's
queen.
Dracula in the 90s got captured the best version of the romance.
Yeah, it was a romance side of that. It was a
'cause
great
it's
movie.
Like, it's this dark, beautiful. It's like this dark love. It's I don't know. It's weird.
Well,
it's like
yeah,
this-
and then followed by
You know,
the
yeah.
interview with the vampire.
yeah. And who
same
doesn't
time
love a
period.
bustle? I mean, come on.
So it's like we have Dracula in the sale,
Mm-hmm.
but then we have these crazy fucking things called tortured souls.
Tortured Souls. Those are
likes-
actually really cool. I enjoyed
are
looking at those.
so
They're
not-
wild.
I don't know.
They're
Either
wild.
love them or
They're
you hate
super
them.
grotesque figures.
They are grotesque.
No, they actually.
You know what? They're so
understatement.
great. I want you to buy them. Buy them
No,
all.
so like they're kind of.
You
I
should
feel
buy
like
them
they
out there,
fall-
ladies and gentlemen.
They fall under the realm of like xenomorphs.
So disgusting.
Is that what they're called?
Demomorphs?
No,
Xenomorphs?
from like Pinhead. What are they called? Yeah.
Oh shit.
I don't know.
Xena
I don't know what that's
somethings.
called. It's called holy
I
shit.
think you're close.
I think it's close,
Yeah,
right?
Something like
Xena
that.
something, but it's very similar to like that style of work. So it's like weird.
No, like body
it's
parts.
pretty. Yeah, it's body parts. You're buying body
like
parts.
Androids.
You know what happened?
No, like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
They had-
robotics.
They
So
had
very
a,
Hellraiser. Yeah.
they had a bunch of
There's
toys
Hellraiser
that.
in the sale too.
I think
there
they
is
probably
also
had a
Hellraiser.
bunch of toys that they were all broken, so they said,
They
"Okay,
just
let's
suck
make
them
we'll
together
stuff them in there
and put a
and
little
make these
blood
They're
on it.
actually really
tortured
cool.
soul
They have like
people."
moving chains and stuff. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, I guess. No, to each his own.
To each
I mean, listen, I like the nudie women. You like the tortured, half
Tortured
mangled
souls,
people.
you
There
know?
you go.
Hey,
But to
trauma
be-
for trauma.
There you go. McFarlane is definitely, that sale's coming up next week. It's jam packed, and if you bought stuff last time and now you have you're looking to buy it again and you made money with it, bid again. But this is the last time. We don't have another batch of this stuff because like that sale we had duplicates like 3, 4, 5
So
of the
much
same,
fun.
and we actually really had 8, and now I got duplicates
literally
again,
the
3,
end of an
4,
era.
5 again. It's the end of an
Literally
era.
the end of an era.
Yeah, so make sure you check that out next week. So, but that's going to be a fun sale. I always like the pop culture sales that bring in tie-in
cool.
movies and tie-in music and everything else.
It's frustrating when they won't stand
Yes.
on
Yeah.
their own, and you're trying to put them on the turntable. But besides that, they're super cool.
Right.
Not super heavy either.
No,
not in general.
Not like short boxes and
Yeah,
long
that helps.
Those sales are easier to type. They seem to go
Because
faster.
they are where they are what they are.
They're easier to research.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. It is what it is.
Yeah.
There's no.
It is what it is. And with that, we'll be right back after this message.
After these messages, we'll be right back. Hey, our next record scheduled sale is a 2-day event. Yeah, you're getting 2 for 1. Wednesday, April 23rd, and Thursday, April 24th. So, first day we have guitars. There's 200 guitars in this collection, amps, violins, and more. Check that out. And the next day on the 24th, if you didn't get enough guitars, we get into the Epic Sports and Autographs card. We have sports cards. We have game-used items, everything you could possibly think of. New York teams, hockey, baseball, basketball, anything you can think of, we have it all. Make sure you check it out. www.bodnarsauction.com. Bodnarsauction.com. Wednesday and Thursday. Check it out next week. Preview our bid now or bid live next week, 11 o'clock in the morning. Thanks, guys, and now back to the show.
Another stupid review came in this week.
A stupid review.
Yeah, some crazy person reviewed us on Google, right?
Oh, yeah, they never even bid at our sale.
They never even bid at our sale. Can you believe this? I just responded to this
Sounds
today on
about
Google.
internet. Sounds
about internet.
Sounds about internet. Exactly.
Like, we looked her up, and I was like, you've never even
some
bid.
woman, so it's so funny. We just got, we talked about Google reviews in the past, and this is exactly why I can't stand them. But we got a review, goes, buying comics at that auction is a scam, and the way they grade them and this and that, and the auctioneer talks over everybody and holds out so people bid more, and
hence the point of an auction.
Yeah, hence the point of an auction.
That's an auction.
And some other thing, right? So then I go and look up the name. And I look at the last 3 sales. And this person never even bid at our auction, or did, I shouldn't say bid. They at least didn't buy anything at our auction.
Yeah.
So how would they know that the grade is wrong? How would it's just somebody that either A, wanted to bid at the sale, couldn't buy anything because it went for so much money.
So they got mad.
Yeah, they got. They put their shills in the audience. Like, oh yeah, there's shills on the internet.
They got big mad.
Yeah,
we don't have.
We have AI.
An audience.
Yeah, we have AI bidding over here,
why
bidding
don't you
up.
explain to some of the viewers what a shill is?
Yeah, so
we didn't know.
Yeah, no, you didn't know that for them. But the shill is somebody that the auction company would plant somebody to bid you up, which makes no sense, but to
we
bid you up.
Have an audience.
We don't even have an audience
in our space.
Exactly.
It's
just us.
In like would you consider the space a warehouse? It's warehouse-esque.
It is warehouse-esque.
Exactly.
Yeah. It looks better now that Tracy and I painted it.
Yes, it does look a lot better. But yeah, so I answered back and just basically said, this person's never even bid at our auction. I don't understand what her problem is. And by the way, she's just a computer troll that doesn't want you to understand.
Trolls.
You know what it is? I guarantee you, and this is why I was just talking to our SEO company about this, it's hard for us to get good reviews.
They're honest to get Google reviews.
Because most people, if you're happy with our services as far as buying is concerned,
don't leave a review.
You don't want to leave a review because you don't want anyone to find out where I'm buying my stuff and how good it is that I'm getting. I'm getting a deal. So in the realm of the auction business, it's very difficult to get good reviews.
We actually had an existing customer when we were a live sale go on and say the same thing. Now, when we were a live sale, that we put shill bidders in the crowd, which I'm like. There's like 30 employees. At what point do you see any of them in the crowd bidding?
Isn't that the truth? Yep.
And said all these horrible things about us.
I know who you're talking about. Yep.
And he was a regular. He came to every sale.
He was a regular bidder.
So the next time he came into a regular sale, and excuse me, but I'm gonna say something. He comes in, he's like, "Hey, how are you?" And I turned to him and I was like, "Fuck you."
Honestly, facts. Like,
and he was like, "What?" And I was like, "No, you don't get to talk to me. Fuck you."
And
you're lucky I even allow you in here at this point.
And fair. And he admitted it, and he said because he wanted to keep buyers away.
He wants to keep buyers away.
He wanted to keep buyers away.
Destroy your business for their own benefit,
for their own personal gain.
Yeah, unbelievable.
I think that's a double-sided coin because I feel like as a buyer, I mean, not that I'm the biggest auction buyer. I'm more of like a thrifter, shop buyer, but at the same time, sometimes you'll find a spot and you're just like, fuck, I can't tell anybody about this.
Yeah.
Right? No, I got what you're saying.
Good.
No,
it's
but
so on the opposite side.
On the opposite side.
Situation. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah, if I knew a place where I was going every week and buying stuff and I was making a living, I wouldn't tell nobody. Like, I don't disagree. But
to go out of your way.
No, I would
going
never
out of
do
your way
that.
is crazy, and then like that's just being malicious.
For me, my ethics are everything. Like it's super important. So to accuse us of something we're not even doing, like. Dude, you want to go on and leave a 1-star review and say that woman that is married to the auctioneer is a bitch. go for it. Because it's true. You know
It's
what
true
I mean?
that they
It's a
wrote that
true
anyway.
statement. And people have written that about me before.
Yes.
Great. But don't make up. Do you know what I mean?
But you're not a bitch. You're just telling it like
bitch,
it
you're
is.
a bad bitch.
I'm a bad
bitch. Okay, there's a difference. There's a difference.
You know what it is? She tells it like it is, and you're not going to sugarcoat it. I mean, and that's not. I don't consider that a
Maureen's
bitch.
not ducking any smoke.
20 years in the restaurant business has, you didn't have time to
I
be
think
like,
the auction business
when
is
you
even
have
worse.
a minute, do you think I could maybe get that steak for table 45? No, bitch, I need it now.
Right,
What
right.
are you waiting for?
But the auction goer, when we were a live sale, is a certain type of.
There's a lot of
person.
tough people.
They're tough people.
I don't want to say all of them.
And I think collectors can also be very shrewd.
They can
think?
be.
Process as
Yes,
well.
absolutely.
They can be, but there's a lot of nice people that would
Yeah,
come.
no, there's nice
a lot
people.
of customers.
I love you, customers. I love all the customers out there.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm just saying, if you're an auction goer, so the games they would play back in the day, they would talk it down. Say, there's
Yeah.
nothing but a bunch of junk here tonight.
yeah.
Maybe
Stuff
looking
in
at
box
this
lots.
like, that has a chip in it. He's saying it loud so other people could hear him.
So that they could bid on it.
So they could buy
Yes, it would
Yeah.
happen all the
Exactly.
time, man. All the time they would
They're
play
playing
these games.
mind games.
They would come in and be like, I would always love. There was a couple guys. One guy, his game was he'd always come in like, there's nothing here for me, Joe. I don't understand you getting all this junk anymore, da da da. And then he'd be sitting in the back.
Yeah, I want to see his tab at the end of the
We
auction.
bid on everything. But I thought you said I had
100%.
junk. What are you talking about, man? But that's how it was. Yeah, they would all had their own little games going on.
Well,
They're
that's
mind games.
That's
Yeah.
it. And it really, I have to say, for me, it thickened my skin
Right.
big time.
Oh, definitely.
I wouldn't say I was ever thin-skinned. I wouldn't say I was ever, but when I would get into a confrontation with someone at the auction, because they will try and intimidate you, especially
Yeah.
as a woman
Yeah.
in a male-dominated world, they will try and intimidate you. And in the beginning, I would hold my ground, but the inside of me was shaking like a leaf.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I would walk away like,
But there's that bad bitch energy. It's just like you have to live in the moment. And
Yeah.
it's just like you can't, because at the end of the day, it's still like business is still business.
well, and then
And you're just you're just like firmly establishing that.
100%.
And like I respect it.
by
I
the
respect it.
end, people would come over and yell at me, and I would literally sit in my chair in the office.
Yeah, no, that would be rough.
And when I'm like, "Oh, are you done? Is it my turn?
Were you done?
Oh, are you finished? Was I supposed to
I love
respond?"
that.
By the way, for those who are just listening and
it's
not
like that little
watching, she
extra
put her
fuck
feet
you,
up
you know?
on the coffee table and laid
Leaning back, and
Lean
I'm
back.
just crossed arms, just looking at him, and I'm not gonna because you're gonna go on and
At that
yell,
point, they're gonna do what they're gonna do.
and I don't care.
Yeah, how many times I've done that too, where they just dig in and I would try to explain, and I couldn't get a word in. I just be like,
Oh, I just hung up on someone the other day.
unbelievable. Yeah, it's been a while since I hung up on someone.
I hung up on someone that Joe was talking to.
Oh yes, that's true. Oh my God, yeah. So this guy, ridiculous. There again.
He bid at the sale.
Yeah, he bid at the sale.
He bid on Sterling.
Bid on Sterling.
He called up and said, I kind of want to come and pick up and pay at the same time.
Right.
And I said, great. Sent them the link for the thing to, here's the thing. Pick your time. Great. Never picked a time. Never picked a time. Never paid.
I didn't think he
nothing.
didn't even pay his bill.
He hadn't paid his bill
Yeah,
yet,
that
but
was
I
the
said,
other
okay,
thing.
you're going to come and pay. Never picked a time. So on Sunday, his card auto ran.
Yeah, 'cause after
when you sign
72
up to bid
hours.
online,
Yeah.
you have up to X amount of time and your card auto runs. His card auto ran.
Yep.
So then he called up on Monday, which is the last day of pickups, talked to Joe and said, I want to come pick up and I want to pay. Joe didn't look him up. He just put him on the list. And Joe said to me, oh, this guy, can you print? I said, he already paid. The card auto ran yesterday. So he tried calling the guy back. 3 minutes later, gets his secretary. Says,
Yeah.
the card already auto ran.
Yep.
The secretary says, I'll try to get in touch with him. He sent someone to come pick them up. He didn't come himself. So the guy walks in the door and he's like, hey, I'm here to da-da-da-da-da. And Joe says, okay, well, you don't have to pay. The card was already run.
Yep.
So his issue was now on Live Auctioneers and Invaluable, we have finally conceded and we're passing the processing fee onto the bidders.
Right.
Not on bodnarsauctions.com, but on those two bidding platforms. It's ridiculous. It's over 4%.
Yeah,
for the credit
4%.
card
That's
fees.
heavy. That's
it's
heavy.
heavy.
Yeah, it's heavy, man.
So he was mad about the processing fee.
Right.
And Joe, so the guy who came gets him on the phone. I hear from across the room the guy's yelling at Joe.
Oh, he was yelling at me. Ridiculous.
Yelling at Joe on the phone. Joe's trying to get a word in. I go outside. The guy follows Joe outside. The guy's still screaming at Joe on the phone. I walked outside. I said, "Give me that. Give me that phone," because he is non-confrontational.
I was being polite to him.
I grabbed the phone. And I go, "Hi, this is Maureen Bodnar," and he said, "Who gives a shit who you are?"
Okay, now you fucked up.
I didn't even get mad. I went, "Oh, okay." Click.
Yeah,
and handed the guy his phone back and walked away.
Yep.
Joe comes inside with me. We come inside. Poor guy comes back in.
Yeah, the guy refused. He wanted to talk to me.
Again, hands it to Joe, and Joe's like, "Listen, no, you." And I just walked up behind Joe, and went.
Yeah, you did. Well, it was in my hand.
Phone. Handed the guy the phone back and said, "Listen."
Oh my God.
His items had already gone to the UPS store.
Yeah, they're already at the UPS store.
I said, "Here's where the items are. It's 5 minutes down the road. I already called them, told them you're coming. There's no pickup fee. Go pick them up."
Yeah, just go
I
pick
am
them
not
up.
speaking to him again. Have a great day, okay?
All over.
Get out.
It was all over like $26 on the processing fee. $26. It was all over $26.
So he's so big and bad, but he's fucked up. $26.
So it was $26. Wow. He didn't follow the rules because he didn't pay his bill.
He didn't pay his bill.
When I talked to him on Friday. He was bitching about the processing fee. I said, "Well, you would have to come and pick it up in person.
Come and pay in cash.
But you got to pick a time and this." He never picked a time. Never said if he was coming. We don't know what he was doing. It automatically ran. So everything was on him. But he was trying to blame me.
At
and
the
he
end
was
of the day,
just.
you guys still have a fucking business to run.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
People will blame everything on us.
Right, and they think
all
like
us. Like there's hundreds of you, one of me.
Well, the problem
But
is
that's the world today. I mean,
it is the world
it's
today.
Just, everybody has so much lack of accountability.
But you know what it is too? We have to be strict. It's like being with your kids. You have to be strict sometimes. I mean, you can't. I look at us and we have a strict policy of, hey, you bought it on Thursday. It has to be out by Monday. We don't want to hear it. It can't stay another week. We don't make
hide
exceptions.
It in the terms. We put it in every
we put it in everything.
description.
We tell everybody. But yet you still have buyers that think like, oh, well, I can come on 2 weeks from now or a week and a half from now or this and that. And you tell them no, and they get so angry. But it's like, listen, I know my good friend down in South Jersey auction, he has things in his warehouse sitting for 6 months, 7 months where people then come and pick it up. And he's telling me right now it's getting to a point, it's a tractor trailer worth of shit between the different buyers that have just haven't picked up from him. I go, I don't put up with that. You know where it's going? In my dumpster, or I'm sending it off someplace else.
Listen,
that's crazy.
Train people how to treat you.
Yeah, well, that's true. You got to train people how to treat you.
You train them how to treat you. And I don't put up with crap. And I'm not kidding. If you read reviews, there are some ones where I'm like, don't forget to spell my name right.
Well, that's the whole thing. It's like if you are going to, if you're going to come correct.
Right.
There's no need to take it there.
That's it. Someone has an issue and you come at me with honey, you're getting honey back.
That's what I'm saying. You get more with honey than vinegar. And honestly, at the end of the day, like if you think about it from an outside standpoint, it's a simple process. But it's it's easily laid out. It's as easy as they make it.
Yeah. People today will get riled over the simplest things. And we had a long discussion this week about there's a lot of misplaced anger going on at the moment.
Yes,
there is, understandably so.
Understandably so, but listen, no one's coming for you.
Right.
We do our lovely producer back there, Christian, does these great little clips of our podcast to put out on our social, and people did not like what I had to say.
One went viral. Can you believe? Almost viral. I just said mini viral for Bodnars auction.
For us, viral.
This past week, it's got over 10,000 views.
To get 10,000 views in like 4 or 5 days for us was like. But they did not like what I had to say about your,
everything's
you can't
about
take
context.
your items with you.
Yeah, it's amazing how people take things out of context. It's so difficult to think about, like how it's so easy how you can skew the world with CNN or Fox News and this and that, and you go, no, but just with our own little
podcast here, our 1 minute segment, it got
twisted
skewed.
Those words
they
into something
twisted them.
it
Like, I was
not.
coming for their stuff. Like, don't you take my stuff.
Well, I would like to come for your stuff. If you have things for sale, give us a call. I'm Joe Bodnar of Bodnars. No, but seriously. I do want to come for your stuff. Don't get me wrong. But, no, the context there was really...
The context was...
Well, we were... You know what we were talking about that day? We were talking about this gentleman's collection, the McFarlane. We were talking about his collection and how he put it in storage and started living in his car.
Exactly.
And that's how that conversation started. So we were saying how you should listen. You can't take it with you.
No.
That was how it came.
And we have gone into so many hoarder situations.
Yes.
Where we actually had one in a town nearby in Metuchen.
Right.
And he had a storefront. But he had it was like a house, storefront. It was hoarded. And because he hadn't paid his taxes and because he hadn't upkept the building, it was being condemned. And we went in the day before they were coming in with the dumpsters. And he refused to give up not one thing. You know who I'm talking about?
No, I'm trying. I missed.
You don't remember this?
No, what are we talking about? I don't remember.
In Metuchen, when we went and the hoarder guy, and we were there the day before the dumpsters were coming in, and he was refusing. And we would there was like a pool out back. Do you remember there was a pool out back?
Right,
and we were trying to
right.
take the one statue.
Right.
And then he was like, no.
Oh, yes, I do remember that. Yes.
And I think we took the one statue. And when I tell you the whole place was hoarded, great stuff.
Yeah, it was.
We took one statue and he refused to give up anything else. And the very next day, since it's a town, I grew up in Metuchen. Yeah. I went past the very next day, and they were in there with the dumpster, throwing it all out.
I do remember that. Now that you bring, yes,
so
I do remember this.
That's what I meant
yes.
when I said people are so attached.
He was too, man.
To their items that they can't wrap their head around.
Yeah, that house was like around
selling it to the next person or letting it go in that way. Like, let it go because it's going. In one way or the other, these items aren't going to stay with you forever.
I don't remember their name, but I do remember the property.
Okay.
Just a boom from last
and then the guy came to the sale, the next sale that we had this sculpture, and tried to take it back.
He did try to take it back.
He was like, "No, you can't have it. I want it back." I'm like, "No, I have a signed contract."
Yeah, I do remember this. No, this is going back a long time ago. I do remember that.
There's going to be extreme parts of the spectrum.
But so this one little clip of me saying, "Your items are here before you. They will exist after you. You are only the caretaker for a short time, and for some people, it owns you. You don't own it. It owns you." Yeah. You know, they skewed that in, and it was. Man, they hate me. Woo!
Well, I love you.
Well, thank you. And I do want to respond to the one guy who said, well, clearly, who would marry her? She's never been married. You see this beautiful face?
Yes, I love you very much.
Troll's gonna troll.
Trolls are gonna troll. But the reality is,
you fuck with us.
you know,
Exactly.
but there were some funny comments, like to the woman who said, "I've never seen a hearse pulling a U-Haul." That's my next T-shirt design.
Valid.
Like I'm Bodnar's auction with a hearse pulling a U-Haul. So
like that
thank you
idea.
for that idea. I love that.
And to jump off of that, I think it's in a time that we're all where the world's living in excess. We're all filling landfills. Think about it this way. I like to think that the auction industry, and it's one aspect that I really appreciate and love about it, is that at the end it is a very, quote unquote green.
It's upcycling.
Yeah, it is definitely. It's a very green process. We're keeping things from just ending up in a landfill, from just getting thrown out. Think about it as,
we live in such a disposable world.
We do. So, and what's so nice is that, what I love about older items generally, it's just, it's the quality. They're still here for a reason because they were made to be here. You know what I mean? They were made so well that they're still here. Yeah. That's why I would love to, I'm so interested, like how the market will change in about 50 years. Yeah. Because who knows what's really going to be left around that's collectible from this day and age, because everything is just so mass produced.
They're going to be collecting Apple computers.
Exactly. So
It's
it'll
gonna
be
be
interesting
crazy
to see.
shit.
But
They already
I think
do
that's a
collect
nice
Apple
aspect,
computers.
another way to think of it. No one's coming to take your things.
No one's coming for your stuff.
After you've had your story and your time with them,
We'll be selling
it's their next chapter, just like you're going on to your next chapter.
We'll be selling this
Very
rare
full
microphone.
circle, very full circle.
It is full circle.
Look at the ending of Toy Story 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
But we'll be selling this rare microphone because we'll be implanted with own microphones that you could just think.
Yikes.
That's 50 years from now.
That's scary.
Like,
I'm just saying, just think how crazy can it be?
Cost, you know?
That's scary.
Who doesn't want a titanium leg? But I mean, who has titanium leg money?
Nobody. I don't even have egg money. Okay.
Egg money.
I don't have egg money.
Yeah.
Forget titanium. But no, there was a lot of people like
Specific RoboCop.
no one's saying
I like making niche.
don't collect things and enjoy them while you're here.
Right,
yes,
right.
by all means, collect, enjoy. But when it comes time, see, and here's the other side of that people don't a lot of people don't realize, and we see in our business a lot, is that so many parents collect and they have so much stuff. I mean, we all do. When Joe and I got together, we had a mattress on the floor. We had 2 recliners and a TV on a card table. We didn't even have a can opener.
No, we didn't have a can
open
opener.
a can.
No, we had nothing.
We would
I
sit
agree.
on the kitchen counter across from each other and eat crackers and cheese at night because we had no money.
Right.
You know, and we had nothing. Now, oh my God, every drawer, every cabinet, everything is stuffed with things.
And it was bought through the auction at a fraction of retail.
It really was.
So make sure you bid at the next
True
sale.
story.
But go ahead.
There's
Sorry.
almost nothing in this house that has been bought retail. But the reality is, one day we're not going to be here. Do I let go of it now, or do I make my kids deal with it?
Right.
It's like,
And I see that so much that parents just do not plan for, the inevitable.
and a lot of time the kids, they just don't want to become the next stewards of
Right.
that
They don't want it.
Right, and
thing.
sometimes
They don't
the kids
want
don't
it.
even know whether it's worse, and sometimes it's better that you handle it before you get to that point, and sometimes you can't. Sometimes hoard it, love it, have
Look
it
up
in a
Swedish
showcase
death
and look at it.
cleaning. It's a
There's
thing.
nothing wrong with any of those concepts,
No, but that's all I'm saying. I was trying to get the point across of, at one point, this house that I'm sitting in, that I've painted and made exactly how I like it, is going to belong to someone else.
Yes, that's
and
true,
someone
too.
else is going to live here, and they're going to completely change it.
They'll be doing a podcast right here.
They will.
About something space
They're
related.
going to be, they're going to be doing a why you shouldn't bid at auction podcast.
Yeah. And I'm like, that's
Some crazy auctioneer family lived in this house.
And like on a weirdly existential level, I think it shows the fragility of human capacity to deal with and embrace death.
Yes.
Which is also a reason why I find like Memento Mori so fascinating, especially how prevalent it was in the past. Because think about how much easier it was to die in the past. They always had those reminders, no matter how rich you are, no matter how poor you are, no matter what you have, we are all going to end up.
Our skeletons look the same.
So
Exactly.
it was
100%.
easier to die in the past is the concept you just said.
No, what I'm saying is,
But it's kind of true.
No, what I'm saying,
It's something I haven't thought about.
I think they had more of a realistic grip on it.
Yeah,
What
but
do you mean, though, Dan?
No, my whole point, the ending of my point was, I think, it just shows in modern times how through technology and through certain types of hope, it skews humans' ability to face death and understand that as a concept and deal with that.
Well, because we have so much modern medicine. Think about it. 50, 60, 70 years ago, you go through a cemetery and you see so many graves of children.
right.
Children who would die. And now modern medicine has prevented a big chunk of that from happening. But back then, 100 years ago, 200, 500 years ago, when it wasn't around, you
Death
had
was much more present and an accepted fact in life. Exactly. Is what I'm trying to say.
And
I think it's so shrouded.
And I think a lot of people these days too, they get on these not diet fads, but these fads of I'm not going to eat this, or I'm not going to have carbs, or I'm not going to do this, or I'm not going to do that.
I need that.
For what? You're not going to live forever, even if you do all those things.
Right.
One day you're going to get sick.
Yeah.
One day you're going to get old.
And I think
One
that's
day,
exactly.
That's going to go viral next.
I was
Sorry.
going to say, do not make a clip out of that, Christian. Do not. Please. It's somebody else's turn, okay? Somebody else.
I'm feeling like I'm going to catch the heat next.
Tracy,
somehow.
could you hit us with a
Hit us with some
hearts of
controversial
wisdom? Tracy's like, I'm just not going to talk because I don't need that.
That's what I'm saying. I think modern times and technology and healthcare and whatever, just the strides we've made as a group
society,
of people,
yeah.
as a society, as a collective, but it has definitely skewed our vision on death, and I think that also plays into so many other aspects of life and belongings and things and holding on and how you see them. And
Right.
I've lost my head spinning.
It's very it's complex, but I think
I understand.
But my head's spinning. But he
people
said
don't want to face.
you die easier. That's what you said. That's what
in the past.
In the past. And it makes a lot of sense because I was thinking about that. What a great concept! Because if you think about it, a lot of times, yes, you can prolong your life, but at what cost? And if you're prolonging your life, unfortunately, we've seen this. It's so much lately that it's like, well, if you're around and it's a terrible part of life, why are you still kicking?
What is
or
the
you die
quality
quicker.
of life?
But look at vampires. Even after a couple hundred years, they're like, bro, I'm out. Like,
I don't know.
Take me that sunrise.
That sun comes out.
No, dead ass. They're just like, what? Put me under that UV lamp. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm ready to go.
I would love to be a vampire and like auction off blood. You could be like different levels of blood to auction
Are you
off.
so weird
Because
today?
you can make money off of that. Think about it. The concept.
Says the man who doesn't like gore in horror movies.
I don't like guard. I'm not saying I want to take the blood, but I would like to auction it off. Wow. There again, I don't mind auction.
Pick, buddy.
I would auction it off. It's not blood and gore. Is that gory?
It's literally blood. It's
blood
and gore. It's blood.
Concept.
But let's back it up. If it's exiting the body, as in Dracula, where you have two vampires sucking the blood out of you slowly, that's an elegant way versus horror.
Back to Bram Stoker.
Yep.
Truthfully, if I'm gonna die, I'd rather you just get it over with.
I guess so.
So I'm gonna go with the gore on that one.
Yeah.
Quick, done. See you later.
A quick bleed out.
I don't want
Let us know. What's that email address again?
I'm out. Slice.
What are your thoughts?
What are your thoughts? What's that email address again?
Bodnars, bids, and banter podcast at gmail.com.
Yes,
Eventually,
make sure-
I'll get that podcast part.
Yeah.
Make sure you email us. How would you like to die?
How would you like to die?
Email us
What's
that.
your
We would like to
preferred
know.
method of exiting this planet?
Oi.
I feel like the roadmap has been chutes and ladders this whole time. It's like,
It has been. It
Shoots
has
and
been.
No, I think today was a fantastic episode.
It was, but to all the people out there
Rather
angry, I
indeed.
think my final point is just we have such a different point of view on stuff, on possessions and owning possessions than the general public because we see it and we've been through it.
Right.
We've been through it. When you needed that money, I don't care how much you love it, it has to go.
Well, I don't disagree. If you're at the point where you need the money to survive, or you keep the stuff has to go. I mean, there's no question
We've been
about
on
it.
both
And that's a
ends.
hard concept. And it's a hard concept sometimes. Speaking of, maybe I'm a hoarder or not, but I can give that concept. As far as letting go, it's not an easy feat. I just had this conversation with Alan in the back, because he's starting to put some things in storage and everything else. And I said, listen, pre-pandemic, that barn back there, I could tell you right now, pre-pandemic, I used to hoard
A ton of
Use
stuff.
the
I
H
used to-
word.
hoard stuff. No, I would put it there because I could use it. I think I can use it. And the whole barn was filled with things like that.
Just
all
in
right,
case.
just in case. All right, it was a just in case barn.
It was.
And
I don't think anybody needs a just in case bar. I'm just throwing that out there. It just sounds like that's going to lead to complications.
I would love it.
It was a just in case barn.
So many movies.
Yeah, it was a just in case barn. Like, hey, I have a curved piece of glass. I could use that for a curio if another one comes. Or
Okay, then I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you.
All right, so it was stuff like that.
No,
So
because he never used it.
But this, that's what I mean.
But it does have resale value.
It does. But so what the concept is, I hoarded that stuff for 10, 15 years. Even paperwork. I had paperwork from the auction for 15,
and
20
it had
years.
to go. It
Oh, I
had to
remember.
go.
That
And
dusty paperwork.
We had to switch we had to convert the storage facility in the back to the showroom, and I had to make some tough choices and get rid of stuff. But you know what? 80% of it went bad from sitting there for 15 years anyway, so it was so fucking stupid that I
that's
kept it. I just thrown it out and kept a clean life.
I even said to Joe, took my Christmas stuff down, and you guys have seen it. There's a lot. And I said to him, next year when it comes out, a lot of it has to go.
I might even get rid of some Snoopy items.
But it's not going to be. It's not going to be hard. It's not going to be easy for me. There's a lot of pieces. There's a lot of things that I'm like, I love it all, but it's not enjoyable for me anymore to put it all up. It's a chore.
I don't know.
It's a chore. It's hard. It's something that I dread doing and then taking it down.
It's a lot of work.
So you know what? It's got a fair portion of it has to go because it bogs you down.
And instead of 3 trees, we're going to have 2. That was one discussion.
Yes.
So we're going to drop 1 tree.
The house, I know you guys only get to see a certain range of the house, but for the holidays, it's delightful.
It's
delightful.
Thank you very much.
But it got to the point where I was like,
so if we fulfill our dream and we end up in Cape May, we can open up the first floor at Christmas and we'll decorate it and leave it open. We'll have Christmas year round. They can visit the house, $20 admission. We'll sign an autograph.
I better just sell it.
So what? The stuff?
Yeah.
No, we could sell it at the open house. So it will put price tags on all of it. So you come in to Cape May, you walk through the
Christmas
house,
estate sale.
and then as people walk through, they go, "Oh, I really like that. Oh, it could be yours. $55, $65.
How much you like it?
How much do you like it? Yeah, thank you. Exactly.
What you want.
My mind's going that. This will be the concept of retirement. We'll have a constant estate sale on the first floor, and we'll live on the second floor, and we'll be on the beach 4 days out of the 6.
Oh, sure.
Just have a
That'll
guest
never
bedroom
happen.
because I have yet to go to Cape May. It'll happen before you own this
I
house.
have to get you there.
But I feel like, and everybody keeps telling me I gotta go down there.
You have
It's
to
like
go.
a
We
little
have to
Victorian
get you
dream.
there. It is. It
Yes.
is. It's so cute.
I'm an Ocean Grove queen.
Well, Cape May is
I gotta
beautiful.
keep going further south.
But it's not even. It's just quaint. It's nice. They have great restaurants.
I
It's
see
a
this is one of those
constant
moments.
win. That's the
I'm
one.
not trashing Cape May.
We got
keeping
killed
it
with
for
wind.
myself.
That's why you gotta go in the summer, like when you can billow.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love a good billow in the summer?
Yeah.
They got great restaurants. Actually, everything about it we love. It's just it is a
Except
quaint
for
town.
August. I don't like August.
August.
It's when all the families come down.
All the
We're
leafers
part
come
of that
around.
family situation.
Yeah, but we're not rude.
I'll
I
tell you
don't
what.
throw my trash on the ground. I told a woman once in Cape May.
It was
she
so
threw her
windy.
trash on the ground. He calls me a snob.
I did call you.
I went up to her and she threw her trash on the ground and I said, excuse me, there's a trash can right over there. If you want to do stuff like this, Wildwood is accepting.
Yes, Wildwood is for.
It is giving Wildwood and also seaside energy.
Yeah.
Right.
But former Seaside, because have you been to Seaside since since they started really rebuilding?
Honestly, not since prom weekend, which
That's
was
what I'm
a very long time ago.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Since Sandy,
Prom weekend.
very different vibe. We took the kids down,
Yes.
very family oriented.
Yeah, it is.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Wildwood now is the Seaside.
Yeah, I agree with
Okay.
that. I agree with that. Wildwood is the new Seaside, but I enjoy Seaside as a kid.
Whereas
See,
Wildwood was more of a family oriented kind of place.
I never liked Wildwood as a kid. I don't know if you did. I mean, I guess I don't know. I was a
still love
Seaside
it.
kind of guy because Seaside was only a 45-minute drive.
Yeah.
I'd hop in my Mustang convertible. I had purple neon lights underneath with
Nice.
strobe lights in the front.
He was that guy.
And then I had a system going in the back.
was that guy.
And I
was
would
a
go
punk.
down and I would cruise the strip. I get pulled over by the cops. I didn't get a ticket, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was the Seaside that I remember.
was a punk.
I mean,
I was not a punk. I
remember trashy
I was
Seaside.
cool,
Prom weekend
man.
it's a haze, but it was
Yeah.
trashy and gross.
Right.
But for me, I was lucky enough to go to church when I was younger, in Asbury Park, right by Ocean Grove.
Okay.
So I got to spend a lot of time in Ocean Grove, so inherently
Yeah.
that was natural. But then I also had a best friend, who I still have, who has a beach house, whose family has a beach house in Sea Isle City.
Yeah.
So then I got spoiled
Yes.
with that whole Sea Isle City Avalon
Yeah.
vibe, because it's definitely so family, so chill, so super so nice. I love it down there.
Yep.
But
What's your beach favorite place?
I don't have a beach.
You don't have a beach favorite place.
No, I don't have a beach.
You don't
you
go
don't
to
like
the beach.
shore?
You don't like the sand. You don't like the jellyfish.
I had a bad experience with jellyfish when I was at Sandy Hook when I was a kid.
I hate that jellyfish. I don't like that either.
But with Ava, I've taken
on
her to Ocean Grove, Asbury Park recently.
Asbury Park is nice.
But that's it. I'm working all the time. When can I go to the damn beach?
Whatever.
Yeah, Joe, when can she and her daughter go to
When's
the beach?
Bodnar's Beach Day?
We can have a Bodnar's Beach Day. I like that idea. I have
do
no problem with
Bodnar's
that.
Beach Day.
We
It
didn't do
gives
it.
a whole...
Yeah, we can have
We
the-
have like,
Yeah.
we'll do the podcast
Yeah,
on the
we
beach.
can do the podcast.
Bodnars Beach Day.
I'll be honest with you.
Whole new meaning
If you want to
BBD.
do that, I will do a live shot of the we could do a live broadcast down at the beach at Convention Center in Cape May. I could probably get that done. I could get that done.
Fuzzy
Yeah.
covers for the
We
mic.
could get that done. It would be quite interesting. That'd be
We'll
fun.
do
Could we do
it.
the? Oh my God, could
Bodnars
we do
Beach
that?
Day. We
Yeah.
are
At the
Why not?
convention center is
At the
on the
convention center,
beach,
yeah.
and their whole back wall is the
that
ocean.
open air gallery.
It's,
Yeah.
it's the ocean.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to get those fuzzy covers for the
It
mic.
possibly could be done. I could make that happen. I think I
Talk
can make
to
that
them.
happen.
Amazing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, have podcasts. We'll travel.
Then we could all be in bathing
I
suits.
fucks with that heavy.
You're gonna be in your Speedo.
I'm gonna be in my speedo. No.
I will be billowing.
Look the same.
Yeah. I will be in loose, flowy
Yes!
clothing, billowing,
Yes!
which hopefully I will be have some billow buddies too. You know?
Oh yes.
I like this
know.
idea. We can take a road trip.
Palazzo.
Road trip.
Oh.
Road trip.
Oh.
I'm a palazzo
Yes.
plant.
Yes, we're good.
All right.
Same page.
I like it.
I'm in my bikini. That's fine. If
Well,
it's
there you
hot,
have it.
that's fine.
All right. Well, that's the gig. I think an hour has ticked on by.
Oh, wow, that was a quick one.
That was a quick hour. Thanks for
Get us
that.
It was a
talking.
quickie.
Jeez.
Get us to talking smack about people.
Chatty Cathy's
That's
over
it.
here.
Exactly. Well, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you watch us every other week here at bodnarsauction.com. Bodnars Bid and Banter. You can get it on bodnarsauction.com, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere, YouTube, and all where
All the
podcasts
things.
are
Like and
displayed.
subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe. Like it, what? Yeah, subscribe. Describe. What? Anyway, thanks for joining us. Make sure you tune in. If you don't have enough here, join us on the auction live next week, auction Thursday. Make sure you check it out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Joe Bodnar.
Maureen.
Danny.
Tracy.
Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Good night. Good
Peace
day.
out, y'all.
Bye.
Thanks for watching Bodnars Bid and Banter. Remember, we're here every other week with new episodes, new stories, and wonderful, wonderful times. Make sure you check us out, bodnarsauction.com, YouTube, Facebook, all the different platforms where you watch this podcast or listen to this podcast now. Now, once again, thanks and have a wonderful day.